Fish and chips. Fish and chips. Sprinkle on the vinegar made from malt. Shake the salt on your fish and chips. Fish and chips. You can use your fingers 'cause it's delish. What a dish. Chips and fish.
Welcome to Oh My Cod. I'm Tamsin, and I like all things food. As we are now living in a relatively trouble-free period where food is delivered with a few simple clicks on our mobile phones, prepared for us and to us, we often forget about the origin of food and how it's made. Nowadays, a huge percentage of the food consumed in the UK is imported. We all know where pizza, chow mein, and curry comes from, but do you think it stops there? There's a possibility that British meals aren't truly British after all. And guess what? I'm talking about fish and chips. You probably assumed, as I did, that it originates in the north of England. Sorry for the shock, but it really doesn't. We'll let you in on a little secret if you stick around. Fish and chips is another import. If you're new to our show, be sure to join our official Twitter page, OMCOD, and start sharing your stories with our audience. We're going to blow your mind as well with our discoveries about all British representative national dishes. In today's episode, we'll also take you behind the scenes at Skipper's in Hatfield, a lovely neighborhood chippy. We'll learn all about the secret ingredients that give Skipper's fish and chips their hero status and discover what goes into preparing their top-notch fish and chips that draw long queues of customers to the store. Let's unravel the history behind fish and chips.
Fish and chips considered Britain's quintessential fast food. However, what was I to tell you is not as British as everyone would have you believe. The great British tradition of eating fish battered and fried in oil was first introduced by Iberian Jewish immigrants who spent some time in the Netherlands before settling here in the UK as early as the 16th century. They prepared fried fish in a manner similar to pescado frito, a traditional dish from the southern coast of Spain where the fish is covered in flour and cooked in oil. While its initial origins is understood, here in the United Kingdom, fish and chips' origins is still unclear. Both Lancashire and London stake a claim to being first to invent this famous meal. The first official chip shop known to history was opened in London by Joseph Marlin in 1860. Then in 1863, John Lees started selling fish and chips out of a wooden hut in Lancashire, Oldham. During World War II, ministers made sure never to ration fish and chips. It was a cheap protein source for the Industrial Revolution working class. Fish was imported from the north of England to the south of England thanks to the invention of the railways in the 1800s, which in turn increased the demand for fish and chips. Hello, can you list the nation's favourite dish?
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
I'm hoping it's fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
For England, I think fish and chips is one of them.
How often do you have fish and chips?
Oh, well, we were having it weekly,
Yeah.
which is quite a lot, but usually, yeah, Friday night special.
Maybe every fortnight or something.
Every fortnight? What are the kind of condiments you would like if you had fish and chips?
Salt and vinegar.
Curry sauce.
Curry sauce,
Always.
very popular.
Yeah. Always.
Well, I like fish and chips, but I also like a mushy peas on the side.
Why do you think people like fish and chips so much?
Do you know, I've not really thought about that. I've no idea, to be honest with you.
So wherever you go, you're always going to get the same, aren't you? You can't go wrong with it.
There's them everywhere, aren't there? In town, corner, most neighbourhoods.
And do you know fish and chips isn't actually as British as you think it is? It wasn't actually invented by the British.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Do you know that?
I do.
Did you, yeah?
Yep.
Do you know whereabouts it was from?
No.
I wasn't aware of that, no.
No.
It's a very traditional British dish.
The way we make it, that's nothing to do with the Jewish flavors.
No.
It's totally British flavor.
So, as we found out, fish and chips may not be the stark British icon we've all known it as, but its history and legacy lives on with the people in the British Isles and is still beloved by all those that eat it.
I never realized that fish and chips, the supposedly national meal of Britain, was not created by us. Like so much British food, it's an import we've happily taken into our hearts and to our tables. Now we're going to have a look at how the classic fish and chips are cooked in the kitchen of the best fish and chip shop here in Hatfield. Pay attention. I think I hear the sound of deep frying fish.
Today, we're at Skipper's, Hatfield's most famous chippy. This is Carolina and Danny, the owners of Skipper's. In 1984, Skipper's introduced with a red shotgun design. Over the years, ownership ever changing, and design switching from red to blue after 16 years. Since 2006, Carolina's family have been at the helm. They've allowed us behind the scenes in the kitchen into how they make their fantastic fish and chips. You ready? Let's go! King Edward potatoes. They're used for their light and fluffy texture. Every morning they are peeled, washed, and in batches, thrown into the machine to be cut into the shape of chips. Also in the kitchen, salad is prepared, along with mushy peas, curry sauce, and the batter. Skipper's are famous for their cod. The fish is skinned, then sliced, and then has its bones removed by hand. That's fantastic. Skipper's uses rapeseed oil. It comes as a solid at first, but is then heated into a liquid form for the fryer. The fish is coated in the batter and then dropped straight into the fryer. Oh my god. Oh, wow, that was intense. After the fish and chips are fried, Skipper's open their doors and hearts for the customers. Skipper's are helpful and accommodating, creating food of the highest quality. The day finally ends, where Carolina, Danny, and the rest of Skipper's team eagerly await for customers to be arriving at their doors once again.
I've brought back the classic fish and chips from Skipper's. Thankfully, I've been craving some fish and chips today, especially after seeing how Skipper's prepared their scrumptious meals. Oh, how I wish everyone sitting in front of the screens could smell it too. Now, to taste. That looks good, eh? And I think the fish has been cooked perfectly. It hasn't been left in for too long, so it's not dry or anything. That's really lovely. I love a chip. That's really nice. I might have to share that with my kids someday. Anyway, let's look at what people have been sharing on our Twitter page. First up, this user is saying that according to a 2004 survey, the smell of fish and chips is the UK's 10th favorite smell. Next one says, don't judge, but I loved canned tuna topping on my fish and chips. Well, this person's a big fish lover, what can I say? Another comment is saying, my granny loves to fry the fish and chips with old cooking oil. And last one, not sure if you love mushy peas with fish and chips, but I've heard Gordon Ramsay does. I do like mushy peas. Thank you to everyone who left a comment and followed our Twitter page. Within the last century, fish and chips have grown from a religious dish eaten every Friday to becoming one of Britain's own national treasures. It's something we all have with our families, from our local takeaway, when we go to the seaside, and when we're with friends in the sun and want a traditional British snack. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to finish this amazing plate of fish and chips.
They're fine when you're out to dine, but for my dough, I'd rather go to Be My Face. Any place where they've got that good